Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. And this is a brother of faith. I'm so excited to have on my show. We've met 2 years ago, but we connect all the time, and he's got great stories and a great product he's going to talk about. Hey, Brett, welcome to the call and the show.
Yeah, thanks. I'm finally glad that we've been able to get this together.
This is
So
awesome.
yeah,
And it feels like a call, but it is a show. But Brett, let's start with the very beginning with ASEA and what your struggles and how it helped you.
yeah, thanks. I was introduced to ASEA. It was a little bit more than 5 years ago, actually almost 6 years ago. It was March of 2017. Um, I had been struggling with severe low back pain and inflammation, and it was due to an injury that I had when I was 19. So let's do the math. It was 1983. Uh, I got hit in a hockey game, and you're skating around the ice, and the adrenaline's flowing. You don't think you're hurt, but the next day you feel it. Kind of a very broke college student at the time, so I didn't have money to really go to a doctor. So I just did what I could. The over-the-counter medications. I probably even bought a back brace, a Velcro back brace from Walgreens. But those were the things that I did. Slept on a hard floor, used heat, ice, Bengay. So I'm definitely dating myself there too. But it just never properly healed. Um, and so, like I said, I just did whatever I could at the moment. As I began to get older and work and make some money, I finally got it checked out. It was probably 1988, so it was 5 years later that I actually had an adjustment on my back from an osteopathic surgeon, osteopathic doctor. Um, and he asked me what happened, and I told him, and he said, "How long ago?" I said, "5 years." He was like, "What? 5 years?" So, I mean, that's kind of the struggle I had, and he knew after he adjusted me that there was going to be more problems and more work that needed to be done based on your body tries to compensate, and so there was a lot of tightness at the lower area of the back. Finally went to get it really diagnosed through the doctor, and turns out I had damage to the L4, L5 herniations, that area, SI joint. And then they explained to me like the tendons and ligaments that hold those joints in place were kind of like the elastic that on your socks that no longer holds it up. So I was dealing with a hypermobile joint, and it would just pop out all the time. And for a long time, I just tried everything. I did everything from, let's see, I did magnet therapy, I did massage therapy, I did personal training, I did physical therapy a lot, I did massage, back to massage. Chiropractic was the main thing. I took pharmaceuticals, and I also took for pain and for inflammation and for um, the muscle, like I think it was flexural, whatever. And then I tried this prolotherapy, which is a medical treatment that is designed to inflame the ligaments more so that they grow and get stronger. I did 12 of those procedures. So I did everything that medical profession told me to do, whatever the established criteria and strategies and protocols, short of surgery. But I was recommended in 2009 that I go to a surgeon, and I did, and did everything that I needed to do. And then when I sat in his office for the evaluation, he asked me if I had pain radiating down my leg. I said no. And he said, "Well, I can't help you then. I can't." So there I was, 2009. I was back to square one. What do I do? I just did my typical leaves and chiropractic treatments, anywhere from 3 to 10 times a month. I'd been working with one of my chiropractors, so I had a lot of them because I was always searching for new techniques, new strategies, new plans to get well. And I met a chiropractor in the Northbrook area of Chicago. So it's like the north side of Chicago near O'Hare. Holistic physician, chiropractor. He was somebody new. I read his book. He'd been working on me for like 12 years up until he introduced me to ASEA. So he did some good things for me, but it never properly healed. Fast forward, I'm in Chicago, or was in Chicago. Now I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And he called me up, probably hadn't talked to him in a little bit over a year, and he asked me, how I was doing. I just told him my back was still giving me problems, and he insisted I take ASEA. So that's kind of like call that the Reader's Digest condensed
Yeah.
version of what I've gone through. But I had never heard of ASEA, didn't know what it was. I just trusted, his name is Dr. Weissman. I just trusted him, and I had no other options. So what do? I just started ordering this product and started drinking it. It's a liquid. And that was so I probably started about April 1st of 2017. Fast forward four months later, he told me to use it for at least 120 days. And I called him to quit. I literally called him to tell him that I'm not going to do it anymore. And because I didn't study it, I didn't really look at anything. I didn't know what it really was. I just trusted Dr. Weissman to take it. So he stopped me and said, "Hey, okay, that's, kind of went back over some questions like, hey, how long have you had this injury? 34 years. He said, well, let's not expect it to go away in 4 months. Problem. So, okay. But what really drew me to continuing was the fact that as I was hyper focused on my back getting, relieved, the relief in my back, other things happened that I couldn't deny. Any from energy, sleep. You don't sleep when you have a bad back. Skin conditions cleared up. My hair started to grow a lot, like really a lot. My nails were starting to grow. The energy level again was increased. Sleeping was a big thing. About 8 hours a night I was sleeping. But the thing that kept me thinking there's something to this was I had springtime allergies that I had for 50 years that just cleared up. I was shot dependent for a very long time.
Wow.
I was on over the counters, and I was on, and Claritin was my friend from like April till like July 4th. After that, I was pretty good, but those 3-4 months, I was miserable, and I didn't have any of the symptoms. So I'm like, there's something to this. So I just asked him, what do I do now? And he said, just drink more. It's not going to hurt you. So I proceeded to drink more, and literally within a month. So it was probably around by September 1st of 2017. I was doing yoga. I was back in the gym. I was swinging a golf club without pain, sleeping without pain, and not having that feeling that it was going to go out at any time. Sometimes I would just get out of a car and it would go out. I'd get out of a chair, it would go out. I'd bend over and it would go out. So, but I haven't had any of that in almost 6 years now.
What's interesting with your testimony, Brett, and I'm hearing more, we've talked about yours testimony a number of times, but you tried everything. You said that. What I want the audience to hear is you went through it all and found this. Other people don't have to go through it all now because you're telling them, hey, I know it works. Let's give this a shot first. And you tell people, you're very honest. Hey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But give it that 120 days, which you told me. I'm a client, and I'll be honest, I'm a customer. I love it. But I love that about it. What, besides Dr. Weissman, what do you think motivates you to keep going? Or was it just all what he was saying?
Well, I think it was the fact that I trusted him as a friend. I trusted him that he had my best interest at heart. He had never, in the 12 years that I known him, that he was working on me, ever insisted that I do anything like supplement wise, like, hey, try this, or let's try this or try that. He just said, he insisted that I take this. And the reason I believe he insisted was because he was using it himself, and he saw what it was doing for him and for other people that he was starting to share it with. And it was just, you know what, why not give it a try? There's nothing else out there that works like this, or, it's just one of those, give it a try, you'll never know.
Yeah, and you got lucky because you met, Dr. Weissman. Somebody out in the audience is not going to know Dr. Weissman. How important is research?
Oh, definitely there's some research. And I think that's when I got that experience where I felt so much better. I did start to research. I'm like, well, what is this? What is behind this technology? We call it a technology because no one else has it. We're the only company in the world that has this product or supplement, as we're called. The FDA didn't even know where to put us, so we are what is referred to as a cell signaling supplement. So if you go to any vitamin store or any health food store, you will not see that listed anywhere. We're the only company that has this cell signaling supplement. And as I keep looking left, I'm looking at the bottle of it because that's my friend.
Yeah.
But it's just, when you do it properly and you give it enough time, you will feel some results. I always tell people, don't get hyper focused on one thing. Let it do what it's supposed to do. And what they've been able to do is replicate how our cells heal themselves, because we're self-healing organisms. Our body heals itself. It already knows how to heal itself. It just doesn't have the tools and the resources to do it as we age, because of toxins in our food and our water and the air we breathe, relationships, EMFs that the cell phones, all of that. It contributes to disease function or disease processes in our body. And so what we're just doing is we're just putting back into our body what it's no longer producing, but what it needs and what it uses to repair and replace the bad cells in our body. So there's actually zero nutritional value. So we'll call a supplement, there's no nutritional value. But what it is we call ourselves the labor of the cell. We fix the cell with the nutrients and stuff that we get from the good food, water, good supplementation that we take in. So if you hire more workers, the job gets done quicker. So and it's been around. The technology's been around since about 2007. The company had a soft launch in 2009, became a company in 2010. I was lucky to get invited in 2017, and now I share it with others.
I love that. And audience is probably thinking, okay, Brett, you got a great story. You're a rep for them. What caught my eye, or ear in this case, some of these other testimonies. Do you have a couple that you could share with the audience that have just blown you away, of other people that are just customers they just took the product and they had a revelation in their health?
Yeah, there's several. I mean, one of the ones that really was kind of eye-opening to me was one of the customers that a friend that started to use it. They were about my age, so they're mid-50s. It was a woman, former athlete in high school. I believe it was volleyball or basketball, very tall. Very, struggled with a lot of inflammation in the joints, the knees, wherever. And her and her husband, wanted to kayak, and they wanted to do fun things and be active and stuff. And she started to take it because of that. But one of the other things that she didn't tell me about was that she had, I believe it was 6 or 7 surgeries on her retinas in a 2-year span. And she didn't tell me that at the beginning, but we started to talk about it later. And so the doctor who had done the surgery, she was going probably once a month to see this doctor. He told her that she should be prepared to go blind. So she was like, I'm not going blind. I want to do whatever it takes. And she just took a chance on this. And she started spraying it in her eyes. It's very safe. You can spray it in your eyes. You can drink it. You can nebulize it. You can, spray it on your skin. You can, there's a lot of ways. And one thing I got to stress here is, because it's a supplement, we can't say that we treat or diagnose or prescribe anything. We always tell people to do what their doctor says, but you can take this along with whatever protocols that you're going through, because our bodies produce it. So our bodies recognize it, already knows what it needs to do. And it doesn't interfere with any pharmaceutical medications. So she began using it, and what she got back from her doctor was, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. So her eyes are better and fine, and there's no fear of having to go blind. That was cool.
Cool is a good word. It's pretty awesome.
So you get the goosebumps along with the stories, and that's the idea. Is we just want to help people get get well from whatever they're dealing with, whatever their challenge is. And then it just, then people just automatically will share it. They'll just tell people about it. And real quick, there was a story that I just listened to. It was yesterday in the afternoon. A woman who, it's kind of a controversial thing, but because of her position as a educator, she was mandated to get the shot, and within a half hour, it was very difficult on her body, literally to the point where fatigue and energy level and joint pain and issues were what she was experiencing. And she tried everything for about a year with the medical profession. What do I do?
Yeah.
And her mother, who, God love her mother, she was searching all around trying to find something for her daughter. Her daughter had three kids, her grandkids and a husband, and, couldn't get out of bed. So she began using it, and within, I think it was about 6 weeks, she can feel the difference, that it was actually working. And now she said yesterday she's symptom free. And it was
That's amazing. It's such a great story. Why I wanted you on the show too is I love ASEA and I love these stories, but we're serving in business.
Yes.
You have a unique way of doing this. I want you to share with the audience what you're thinking when somebody comes to you or asks you about ASEA. What's your thought process? I mean, network marketing, we talked about before this show, it can be cutthroat and selling. Tell your unique way of sharing ASEA.
Well, one of the first question I ask people is, if, when they're coming to me, what they've been introduced or said, you got to talk to Brett, they've already exhausted a lot of things that are traditional. Maybe they've gone from doctor to doctor, or they've been from, specialist to specialist, or tried this procedure. First thing I ask is if they've ever heard of it. And 99 out of 100 have never heard of it. So at that point, I become the educator. I try to educate them on what it is, why it works, I give them a little bit of the science. Most people really don't care about the science. They just, will it work for me? That's their concern. And what I love about the product too is that it doesn't matter where your health challenge is. It just addresses cellular breakdown. And we're having cellular breakdown no matter where. It could be our skin, it could be our organs, it could be, wherever. It doesn't matter. This just addresses cellular breakdown wherever it is. So that's what I do. I try to educate them on it, give them some information, show them some of the studies that we have. For instance, if they have a certain condition, I will find testimonials of others that have had that condition, so they can either see a video or they can read something. And then I just sit back and just say, if you've got any questions, let me know. I'd love to, work with you later if this is what you want to pursue. But it's all about the healing. It's all about the healing and getting the body back to where you want to be.
Well, Brett, and Brett, I just got to thank you for saying that, because I know that we've talked about this, but I want the audience to hear this. How is he serving? He's educating. Whether they buy from him or not, he's serving them with information to help them. Educate your people like Brett does so well, because I've heard him talk to people about this. Your business will grow. It may not be this person, it might be somebody else. That's why I wanted you to say that, Brett, because it's so powerful to me. I try to do the same thing. Let's educate. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we hope they find a resource. Either we can help them or somebody else. With that being said, I love the stories. I'm glad you brought them up. Your business is thriving. What's a book or two that you've read that's helped you get to the point you are and where you're going to go in the future with this business with you?
Yeah. Well, the main book that I read every single morning is the Bible, because there's so many good tips in there. Not only business, but living a good life, and that's what I strive to do each and every day. I'm here for a reason. I just hope that the plan that he has for me is good, and so gonna follow that. But other books that I really like, Darren Hardy wrote The Compound Effect. And it's just doing small things and then just keep compounding. Like, doing it better the next day, or refining it. And it's not always about you. It's about who you're serving. Like you and I talk about that again, how to serve your client, how to serve people, and no expectation of getting anything back. If I can be of service to you, great. That's living a good life. I like Atomic Habits too. I think that's really good book. I think it's James Clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some of the books that I like that have definitely given me some food for thought. Good stuff to use when I talk to people.
Yeah, and I love those. I've heard of both those books. I need to read them, and of course the Bible. We talk about that all the time. And I have a book directory. It'll be in the show notes. You guys can access and grab any of these books. But we're running out of time, and I hate to do this because Brett, again, we've talked for an hour sometimes. It's, hey, let's do a 10-minute talk, and we talk for an hour because it's not just ASEA, but it's people.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for being on the show because that's what I want people to see. Hey, I want you to reach out to him. His information will be in the show notes. It's in his background. If you're watching this on YouTube, reach out. He will talk to you about ASEA, about serving. He's just an open book, which is why I love this guy. Let's leave the audience. I know you got a lot of tips. Can you leave our audience, with a great tip that's helped you, again, to be where you are today?
Well, I think what we've learned as we've grown in business is if we can put others before us, if we can find a way to help somebody or serve them, to find a way where we can eliminate their pain point, and it could be physical, it could be their business, and always think about how you can make a connection for another person. I love doing that. I love getting that note back saying, "Oh my God, that was a great connection." But if you start from a servant's heart, if you start from the serving, just things open up and expand, because you're not only helping yourself in some way, I guess in the back end, but you're also helping two other people. If you're making a connection, those two people are being helped, and then the compound effect. Who are they helping? Who are they going to help in the long run too? So it's all about service. Serve, 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 serve. That's my motto.